Welcome, everyone. Thank you all for joining us today. We'll get started in just a moment. Great. Thank you all for joining today. I will get us going on our webinar today. Welcome to everyone. I am Leah Krumpholtz. I'm the Director of Programs at No Means No Worldwide, and I am so pleased to have you all with us today. I invite you to share in the chat your name, where you're joining from, and take a moment to introduce yourself, if you will. Today's webinar is commemorating the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. Today marks the launch of the 16 days of activism toward ending the violence that affects 1 in 3 women in her lifetime. Today, No Means No Worldwide is inviting a chorus of resonant voices to share their experience delivering the No Means No Violence Prevention Program and their work toward eliminating gender-based violence globally. Today's session is being recorded, and we will be sure to share the recording and resources with everyone afterwards. I'm very pleased to introduce our moderator today, Oladele Ogunmayi. She has a master's in social work and more than 10 years of experience working in the social development space. Based in Lagos, Nigeria, Oladele has been a global trainer with No Means No Worldwide since 2020, and she has helped launch No Means No programs in more than a dozen countries, working with many partners. I'm sure there are many of you represented today that know Ola quite well. She's deeply committed to gender-based violence prevention, and she herself has a powerfully resonant voice that inspires girls and young women around the world. Before we begin, please be aware that this webinar will include discussions about sexual and gender-based violence, which may be distressing for some participants. Please take care of yourself and feel free to step away if needed. Ola, over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Leah, for that wonderful introduction and for kicking off today's event. It is truly a pleasure to have you with us as we dive into today's webinar. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone from wherever you have joined from, and welcome to this special webinar hosted by No Means No Worldwide in honor of the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. My name is Oladele Ogunmayi Oke, and I will be your moderator for today, as Leah mentioned. So we are here to reflect on the progress we have made and the work that remains in ending sexual violence worldwide. No Means No Worldwide's mission is crucial to these efforts, and today's discussions are an important part of advancing that mission. As we move forward, I encourage you to listen with an open heart and mind, and please remember that this is a safe, respectful space for everyone. So thank you so much for being here, and let's get started. I'll be starting us off with our panelists. So here with us, we have Avella Mkina. Avella is a No Means No trainer for TB HIV care, who is from South Africa. And we have with us Ellen Inyadoi. Ellen is a No Means No trainer and an instructor for Uganda Women's Efforts to Save Orphans, popularly known as UWESO. She's also from Uganda. We have with us here Rashida Namukunda. Rashida is a DREAMS officer and No Means No trainer for Infectious Disease Institute, also known as IDI Uganda. And lastly, we have with us Ruth Musimenta. She is a No Means No instructor for the AIDS Support Organization, popularly known as TASO, also in Uganda. So these are our terrific panelists, and we will be hearing their powerful voices as they share their experiences with us to commemorate with the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. But before we dive deeply into today's webinar, I would like to share why the theme Resonant Voices was chosen. So the theme Resonant Voices was chosen for, for the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women to amplify the voices of survivors and advocates, highlighting the importance of speaking out against gender-based violence. It seeks to give visibility and power to the experiences of women, particularly those whose stories have been silenced or overlooked. This theme underscores the role of collective action in raising awareness and fostering change, ensuring that the voices of those affected by violence are heard and valued in the global fight for women's rights and equality. The resonance of these voices aims to inspire solidarity and drive societal transformation, right? And I know we must have been wondering, what is No Means No Worldwide? Who is No Means No Worldwide? For the sake of those who are new on this webinar, No Means No Worldwide is an international non-governmental organization whose mission is to end sexual and gender-based violence against women and children globally. We partner with local organizations around the world to train community-based instructors and trainers to deliver the proven no means no sexual violence prevention programs to youths that are between the ages of 10 and 20. The no means no instructors and trainers help to facilitate our dual gender program, which teaches girls to set unwavering boundaries, to build their confidence, and speak up when the need arises. And in the same vein, we teach boys to challenge rape culture, debunk toxic masculinity, respect boundaries, seek consent, and intervene should they be an eyewitness in the face of an assault. And to buttress how impactful and transformational the No Means No program has been, there has been 47% decrease in the incidence of rape, 79% success rate of boys who intervened to prevent an assault, and 46% decrease in pregnancy-related school dropouts. So that is how impactful the No Means No program has been. So now I'll be handing it over to our panelists, who has 3 minutes each to introduce themselves and also share their connection to this topic. Over to you, our wonderful panelists.
Good evening, everyone. This is Helen Yadoy from Uganda. I'm a No Means No lead trainer working with USO. No Means No has given me hope personally, and I have also empowered other girls to be resilient in whatever situation that they are going through that is related to sexual assault. So No Means No means everything to me. Thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing, Ellen.
Yes, hello. My name is Msime Tarus, a No Means No instructor in Tasso, Uganda. I joined No Means No through Tasso project when they came advertising for training No Means No instructors. By then I was an AGYW and the facilitator for Stepping Stones in Dreams. So that's how I ended up joining No Means No, a powerful curriculum for girls. Thank you.
Awesome. We are pleased to have you with us, Ruth. Thank you for sharing.
Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Rashida Namkunda from Uganda. I started as a No Means No instructor, as among the first instructors in my country, Uganda, in 2019. And currently, I'm a lead trainer or a national trainer in Uganda. And I'm happy to represent my country. I come from a background of physical violence and a lot of sexual and gender-based violence in my community. I grew up in an orphanage where there are different kinds of my fellow peers who have faced sexual and gender-based violence from both their relatives and the entire community. So a lot of violence from where I grew up or my background encouraged me to fight for what my community deserves or what the voiceless in my community needed. Over to you. Thank you. For me, this is passion, not just instructing, but it's passion. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, Rashida.
My name is Avila Mqina. I work as a facilitator and lead trainer at TBHIV Camp. Growing up, my dream was to empower young girls, teaching them to speak out against sexually abuse. So that passion came from my personal experience being raped by my uncle as a child, and he would threatening to kill me and my mother if I could tell anyone or told anyone. So as I grow older, I realized the importance of educating young girls to break the silence. So being part of No Means No program has been instrumentally in helping me achieve my dream. So now I teach girls self-defense skills using No Means No curriculum and empower them to defend themselves and speak out against all kinds of violence. So I am so grateful to be part of No Means No, as it not only teaches young girls physical skills, it also encourages young girls to speak out, to break the silence, give them confidence to fight for themselves. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Avila, for being vulnerable, for sharing your story with us, and also to reiterate to everyone that this is a safe and respectful space, and that everyone on this call should be respected, and also to tell our panelists that you can share as much as you want and also as little as you want. So our panelists, thank you for being the wonderful voices, to the women and children out there. We deeply appreciate you and also respect you. All right, so I'll be going on to our first question to our panelists. What are the biggest challenges in addressing violence against women and girls, given that we are in a patriarchal system? What do you think are the biggest challenges in addressing violence against women and children?
One of the biggest challenge is stigma. People still fear to share their story because they think that when they do that, other people will laugh at them, and maybe they will not get married because they think they have suffered from sexual violence. Then another thing that is still a challenge is our cultural beliefs. Now we are brought up to believe that women are supposed to be submissive, women are supposed to keep their marital secrets. And so when you are a woman and you share your problem out, they think that you're not a wife material or you are not a good woman. So such beliefs is still making it hard for other people to embrace and take up their role in the healing process. And also, we still face some problems, like when you have
Eileen,
a case to
we're struggling to hear you. Could you please project your voice?
Okay, hola.
Thank you.
I have flu and cough a bit. I will try to raise my voice. I'm saying that the first problem I mentioned is stigma. People fear to come out because they think they will be judged. And they think that they will not get married in the future because people know what happened to them. And another thing is cultural belief. For us in some parts of Uganda, people believe that a woman is not supposed to bring out things that are happening in her life to people. So when you bring it out, they think that you are not being a good woman. You get. So that is one of the challenges that we are facing. Sorry.
Thank you so much.
Another challenge or issue, it's the poverty. The poverty where you'll find that the perpetrator it's the one who's supporting at home. So now the child is being forced to keep quiet or not report the case because the perpetrator is supporting. Sometimes you'll find the youth or young girls, they end up doing transactional sex in exchange of money because they want to live, you know. So that's why I'm saying it's the poverty. And also the issue of pressure from the family, where you'll find the child is being raped by the uncle, and now again it's been forced not to report the case. They will keep it as a family secret. Lastly, I think it's also the issue of rationalized abuse, where the abuse is being justified and explained away. So the child is being abused and she's taking it as it is, it's the normal thing, you know. Yeah, I think those are the challenges we are really facing.
Thank you so much. And once again, good evening. One of the challenges we are facing this side is worry. Girls are worried that if they disclose their sexual status, their sexual issues, they will be chased away from home. They will lose school fees. They will no longer have where to stay. So they are worried. Since they are poor, and since these people molesting them are their guardians and parents, some of them are orphans. They have nowhere to go. They have no school fees. They have no shelter. Disclosing their sexual status because they are worried they don't have where to go. Another thing, they are young. They are young and they are frightened because they are threatened to lose their lives. They are threatened to lose their school, their education. So they fear to lose their education and their lives. So they end up not disclosing out their issues and end up suffering. So the worry and the threats that are within the attackers or the assaulters, these abusive parents and guardians is also a challenge to the girls in the community. And another thing is that they don't have where to report because they fear the government officials. They have no connections. They have no who to tell their focal persons because you find sometimes these people are family related, family friends or family relatives, and they end up suffering in such a manner. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Ola. But I would also like to share what some of the challenges I've faced as an instructor and a trainer in my country back here in Uganda. The number one thing is about the judicial system. The systems are there, but they're not effective, whereby you find a bunch of so many sexual and gender-based cases reported, but it will spend years and some are not touched. So somehow that discourages the case managers that keep reporting the cases because somehow the victims feel like they are not helped. So which goes back to the bigger judicial system. The other thing is about the corruption in my country, whereby a girl, for example, who is 8 years and has been sexually assaulted, does not have any money, will go to a police just when they're trying to work on the girl. The high profile person will bring about, let's say, 1 million shillings, and the case will never be spoken about or talked about. So corruption is a bigger issue in my country. Personally, I've faced challenges around that before I had any connections or proper ways to get help. So the other is about the cultural norms and beliefs, where families think if a young girl is sexually harassed and probably they have started to grow their breasts, they're like, oh yeah, that is now a step for you to be married off. Currently, I'm in a place in Fort Portal where sexual violence is so much and at the rise. So many instructors have shared how it is normal and no one comes to their rescue. And I'm happy to be in this area. It's the first time they are enrolling the female instructors, and we've been talking to them, and they're more than ready to end sexual and gender-based violence in their community. Two to go. One is about the high-profile cases. People in high-profile positions have really intimidated those that do not have. So you definitely see the haves and the haves not being, the haves are oppressing the haves not. Then finally, it's about the fear to be believed. Girls fear to report because they cannot report a local leader, a chairman, someone who is like in a high profile position, because no one will believe them. And in the end, the poor families are forced to negotiate and are given some small monies to keep quiet and never say anything about it. Over to you, Ola. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, everyone. And thank you for being the change that we want to see in our communities and beyond. It is incredibly powerful to hear about the challenges you face, especially when it comes to fear, stigmatization, lack of confidence, cultural norms and beliefs, ineffective judicial system. You see, these issues are unfortunately so pervasive in the work surrounding sexual and gender-based violence. And these barriers not only impact the women and girls that you work with or that you try to support, but it also affect you that are doing the critical work to make the difference. And this is a stark reminder of how deeply ingrained these issues are and how much more support and understanding we all need to build stronger and more resilient systems. And that is why we have programs such as this, that's the No Means No program, to continue to equip young girls and women to help them to speak up, understand their rights, so that we are able to foster a transformational generation. So again, thank you so much for sharing your experiences. I want to also reiterate to our audience that these panelists are no means no instructors and trainers who are in the line of sexual and gender-based violence, and they are here to share with us their experiences, in the field of sexual and gender-based violence, working with the No Means No program. So this will lead us to the second question. And this is about what brings you joy? In this line of work that you do, what brings you joy? What gives you hope, even in these challenging times? And also, if you could share any inspiring story or experience that you have had while working with women and girls in your community, it would be helpful. Over to you, our panelists.
Thank you so much, Ora, and my fellow members here in this meeting. My name once again, I'm Pimetarus, and no means no instructor in Tasso here in Uganda and in Mbarara City. What gives me joy doing this work is that I'm doing something that I have an experience of and an experience on as a once abused sexually and domestically young girl and young woman. What gives me joy is that no means girls are also thought of, boys are also thought of, and really their well-being is also thought of. So that's why I'm so joyful that we are helping these young girls and these young children who are being abused by the guardians and parents and teachers and the community. We are giving these guys hope that they are really worth it and they deserve to be defended. So what gives me joy is that I'm doing something I have an experience on, I myself, as a once abused and a molested child, that led me drop out of school, become a single mother at a young age, lost hope and became hopeless for some time back, but not now. Now I'm fine because I got no means, no training. I gained confidence that I can really also fight for myself. I can really also fight for other, especially my siblings, because I come from a poor family, a polygamous one, with an abusive parent, an abusive father, neglectful, careless about his children. So I have suffered a lot in his hands. And what gives me joy is that I was helped by probation officers. I still had to live with a trauma because after that, my uncle tried having sex with me, and this ended up making me lose education because I couldn't make it with him. So he stopped paying my school fees. I ended up dropping out of school at senior four, very young, and ended up becoming a single mother at the young stage. So I'm joyful that I trained a curriculum that helped me heal that trauma. I'm joyful that I trained a curriculum that is helping me help my fellow young girls, my fellow young women, the youth who are out there being abused by the people they stay with, the people they go to look for jobs in, the people they go to look for help. You go looking for help, you end up wanting to lay your legs because you want money, you want a job. So I'm joyful that with no means, no training, and during the field of instructing, I've helped girls to stand for themselves, to gain confidence, to fight for themselves, for their value line that is their life, and to fight against HIV/AIDS that will make claim their life. So my joy is in no means no helping young girls and young women to fight for themselves. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing, Ruth. Thank you for being vulnerable, and also incredible to note how you have been instrumental into shaping the lives of young women and girls around you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Oladele. So, sorry, I'll go next. Still representing Uganda. What gives me joy, what gives me hope and inspiration to go on and on from when I was an instructor, 2019, up to date, are there so many stories, the impact in the communities, both the beneficiaries, the actual beneficiaries, and then the instructors. I cannot mention how many instructors have reached out, how many beneficiaries have learned from me, that what I also learned from the global team. So that also that always inspires me. The stories I hear when you pick a phone call from beneficiaries who has reached out to you because you left your contact behind, and they're sharing to you how they use a particular physical skill to stop or end sexual and gender-based violence, that gives you joy. That intrinsic value, like the inside happiness you feel when someone's life has been impacted or saved because of knowledge you passed on, because of the skills you passed on. That is something that no one else can ever feel. It is a feeling you can only get as a person who is in the field of ending sexual and gender-based violence. I have so many stories, but allow me share one, like guided by the moderator. When I was still an instructor, I happened to reach out to a group within outside my target area, but because I overheard a girl share a story who didn't know what actually sex was, but she was a victim, she was assaulted. So after the first session and warning everyone how we are going to talk about sensitive matters, we had a break after the first session. And two girls came to me arguing. One was saying, no sex is this, no sex is this. So when they reached out to me, they asked me, oh, what is sex? When I told them what it was, they thought it was giving a hug. So once I explained to them, of course, I was sensitive with the culture and the age appropriate. I explained it in a manner that they would understand. And one of them made a statement, that means someone did sex to me. And this person was 8 years. 8 years, you can imagine. So that really hit me inside. I didn't stop there. I went ahead. I had to find out. I had to create a rapport with the girl, understand her, encourage her, give her time. And she shared how a neighbor another parent to two more girls was sexually harassing her, and he was 38 years and the girl was only 8 years, and this had happened for 2 years, two good years. And she shared where, like every other place where she was assaulted from, she reached a point of normalizing it, and she didn't know it was actually danger. So you could hear from the girl's story that this is something I was initiated to, and I've been doing this not knowing what I was doing. So when she told me, I talked to her, I convinced her that I am not I cannot help her alone, but we have a probation officer that support with the rescuing girls that assaulted from toxic communities, and we supported the girl. She was taken to police. They did a Form 3 for the Ugandans. You know what that means? They confirmed the girl was penetrated and all that. Afterwards, I told the perpetrator, I first talked to them. And then after, when the police was involved, this case was as happy for the first time. My first case as an instructor, they told me this is now out of your hands. The perpetrator is against Ugandan government, not just two alone. And as I speak right now, the perpetrator is behind bars, and I was happy the probation officer that connected me to IDI to study, to be taught no means no. I supported this same girl to look for another family to leave the grandmother who feared to speak about what was happening to the biological mother of the girl, and the girl is back in school happily with the family, and the man is still behind bars. And guess what? The man called me like 10 times. Now we are going to get you 200,000. We are going to get you 500. They kept on increasing the money. I told him, this is not about Rashid alone. This is something you did, and it is against the policy. That is one story that I shared in all my classes, and I don't know how many disclosures I got. So thank you so much, Ola. Thank you so much. No Means No Worldwide. Uganda wouldn't have had all these disclosures if it weren't for you. As we conduct IDVs, we get so many stories. We guide so many instructors to support more. Thank you so much. Over to you for now.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rashida, for being a source of inspiration to the girls and young women in your community, and particularly impressive to see that you ensured that social justice was achieved for the girl who was sexually abused. Well done for using your skills and your expertise into ensuring the safety of women and girls in your community. All right, so we'll take one more response from our panelists and we'll move on to the next.
Okay, Ola, thank you. What gives me joy is I've been part of healing process to many other girls out there. I've reached many girls, including the disabled, and that gives me joy that I've been part of the healing organization for those people who didn't have hope, those people who were still judging themselves, those who were finding it hard to come out and live again. I am so grateful that I'm part of No Means No. And right now, what gives me more joy? Me, myself, I am healed. Ola, you can see I'm empowered. I have used No Means No in my own home. Things are flowing. I thank No Means No for that. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, Abella, go for it. I think we have a little bit of time.
Thank you, Ola. Thank you, Ola. What brings joy to me and hope is working with adolescent girls and young women between the age of 10 to 24 years. So being able to establish a strong relationship based on mutual respect and understanding, and also having to witness the growth and progress, like seeing them develop new skills, seeing them develop a coping mechanism, seeing them overcoming life challenges, and also empowering them to recognize their own strength, potential, and encourage them to pursue their dreams. So that's what gives me joy, to give them or to teach them no means no skills so that they can be able to defend themselves, So my experience is that having to mentor young girls has a great impact in one's life, because there was a girl in one of my sessions who disclosed that she's been abused both physically and sexually, and she came from a disadvantaged family. She also involved in a transactional sex, so that she can be able to provide for herself and also for her daughter. So when she disclosed to me, I enrolled her to our program, Dreams program. After that, I also refer her to intensified economic strengthening, where she chose baking course. So after she finished her course, she was then given equipment to start her business. So as a result, now she's able to provide for her daughter and for herself, because she's now selling at the taxi rank. And also in our office, she normally comes in the morning to sell her cakes. So then she was also given a support from our social worker. So now she's doing very good. Thank you, Ola.
Awesome. Thank you so much, our terrific panelists, for sharing with us. Just to let you know that we share in the same joy with you and also your positive experiences, as we know that there is no greater joy in seeing that through your own hard work and skills, the lives of people around you are being changed for the better. So thank you for being powerful voices in our respective communities. So this really does the last question. What skill do you enjoy teaching? And why do you enjoy teaching them? What skill have you found to be most practical? And if you could share from your own experience or from the testimonial of the students that you have that you have taught while on the field.
Thank you much, Ola. Once again, good evening, and I'm so happy for this meeting. The most favorable skill I love to teach is emotional and verbal skill. Why? I personally, the verbal skill helped me overcome my uncle who wanted to sexually abuse me. I kept on negotiating with him, that is verbal skill, kept on telling him maybe tomorrow, maybe when the children are not here, maybe when the workers are not here, I would give you, until when I finished 4 years, when I could not make it and left. So verbal skill has helped me because it has very many skills. That is where we have voice strategies. That is where we lie, that is where we negotiate, that is where we use humor, that is where we use call for help. So in teaching verbal skills, girls have picked it so much that they can now negotiate. Because while negotiating, you can be looking for other ways to escape for your life and get away. So the emotional skills has helped me heal, whereby by applying them to me, to my life, and teaching them to the girls while sharing my experience about sexual and physical violence, I am emotionally healing from the trauma I had before. So emotional skills and verbal skills are helping me teach these girls, because I have applied them with my life. As we know, experience is the best teacher. So with my experience about how I use the verbal skills and emotional skills, I have managed to help girls in my community, because now those young girls in school, young women out of school are using this sense of humor, are using negotiation, are lying to men. When you lie to a man today, tomorrow you may run away or change the route where you found that man. So verbal skills have helped me, I personally, and to the girls I teach, because I see a great impact in these girls, and I hope when we continue practicing these skills to girls, surely we shall put an end to sexual, gender-based violence among young girls, women, and boys. Thank you so much. Over to you,
Also,
Aura.
thank you, Ruth. So before we move on to the next panelist, for a better understanding for our audience, what we are currently discussing is from the No Means No curriculum. No Means No worldwide, we have curriculum for the boys and for the girls. So the one we are currently discussing on is the curriculum for the girls. And for the curriculum, it is a combination of 3 skills. We have the mental skills, verbal skills, and physical skills that girls and young women can use to defend themselves against sexual assault. We do not teach women to fight. We do not teach them to be disrespectful. Rather, we teach them to use this combination of skills should they experience sexual assault. So now we would have the next panelist. Please go for it.
Thank you, Ola. My favorite skill is act crazy, you know. So when you're acting crazy, you are being unpredictable. So if you are acting erratically, your attacker or the person posing a danger may become unsure of how to react, né? And also might be caught off guard, so giving you a chance or giving you an advantage to get away, of which it's our safety goal to get away, né? And also I also like the groin grab. I find it very easier to do a groin grab, and I also feel like if you do it correctly, the perpetrator will only focus on the pain and you will get a chance to run away, to get away, you know. So that's my 2 favorite skills.
Awesome.
Thank
Thank you
you,
for sharing.
Ola. Yes, my favorite skill is the escalation. I realized that the escalation is very sweet. Like when you understand it, you will manage to calm down the situation very fast. Then the other verbal skill that I like is setting boundary. I realized that when you begin a relationship, maybe between you and a friend or any other relationship, you need to be clear of what things that you like and things that you don't like, so that the other person gets to know what you like, and that can help you avoid other problems. And the physical skill that I like so much is back elbow. I like teaching that because I feel like when I give someone back elbow, I feel I've used my total self. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing, Ellen.
Okay, thank you so much, Ola. I'll also attempt this question as well. Well, my favorite skills are one in verbal skills. Under the verbal skills, I've realized I've gotten so much feedback from the instructors as well as the beneficiaries that they try to use their voices to end assaults. In my country, girls or young girls are known to be a weaker sex, and the No Means No curriculum, or it's an evidence-based, so it is a practical session. It changed their mindset to know that they are not a weaker sex. They can actually use their voice to end assault. So they have used the yell no. And they've also used pretending to go along. Sometimes you don't want to right away rush into doing an action, but you try to strategize to use your mind on what skill will be effective and disarm the perpetrator for you to get away, being our safety goal. Under physical skills, this is exciting and not exciting on the side of the gents. I'm sorry for the gents that are on this webinar. So in Uganda, the groin grab has scared so many gentlemen. I'll tell you, during our graduation, we learned this when we were with Oladele and Sandy. Usually we do a presentation in a nutshell, what we've covered for the entire 2 weeks of the instructors. And when we share that skill, every gentleman will be holding their private area. So that means that is scary to them. And for the girls that have used the skills, no one has ever come back to them. This gentleman goes back to the community to tell his fellow gentlemen on how that girl is not one to play with. So I feel like being a private part, they fear to be to be disarmed or cause damage to their private part. So that has scared them, and it has worked for a number of girls based on the different other skills. Thank you so much. Over to you, Ola.
Awesome. Thank you everyone for sharing, and your thoughts deeply resonate with us. It shows how powerful the No Means No program has been and also been touching lives around the world. We're proud of that. Okay, so we have come to the end of today's session, and now it is time for our audience to contribute. And this is where we would ask you if you have any questions for our panelists, if you have any comments or any insights, could you please utilize the chat box so that we take them? So we would give about 1 or 2 minutes for our audience to reflect about the questions or comments that they would like to ask our panelists, right? Okay, I think we have one here. I'll go ahead and read out. So we have, are there any groups of people you wish you could get the No Means No skills that you are not reaching already? For example, adults, younger children, people with disabilities. Did we get the question?
Yes.
Okay, Ruth, go for it.
Thank you so much. Here in TASO, we teach No Means No curriculum to girls from 10 to 20. But my hope or my wish, my request is if No Means No program curriculum is extended from also from 22 to 30, because those are the girls that have finished senior force institutes and are looking for jobs and are looking for survival. So you find most of these girls are being sexually abused, are being molested. Thank you so much. That age 20 to 30 should also be worked on. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing with us, Ruth.
Thank you so much, Ola. Something to share from my experience about the older age. One of the former commercially exploited girl came to me, and she was about 24 years. We don't give No Means No to 24 and above under the DREAMS program. It's an integrated one. So she came to me and shared to me how also commercially exploited with ladies or women, the ones they call in quotes prostitutes. I normally don't want to call them that I feel they are commercially exploited, shared to me how they are sexually abused in that same business. So a lot happens to them, and they told me it would be a very good curriculum for them to also defend themselves when they want to go beyond what was agreed. Given the consent whole package, it would be helpful. And then the other thing, I look at most of the IPs that we are working for, the implementing partner, cover a given area. For example, IDI has a given region, Walter Reed has a given region, and elsewhere. So you realize where the IPs are not, other girls are still facing sexual and gender-based violence. Personally, in my country, with the No Means No IDI trainers, we thought of something during the COVID time where we wanted to do very short videos and share them on social media as well as television, so that the girls that are in areas where the implementing partners do not reach get an opportunity to get information, to get the knowledge. But it's still a work in progress, and it needs so many heads to really effect it. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing, Rashida and Ruth. To crown what Rashida and Ruth have said, our program is such a unique one in such a way that, to a greater extent, we also include people with disability in our program. For example, we tell them if your eyes is taken away, you can use the other parts of your body. If your ears are taken away, you can use the other part of your body. If you cannot speak, you can still use your hands, you can use your legs. If you do not have legs, you can use your hand, you can use your voice, your eyes. So to some extent, our program also serves people with disability. But as time goes on in the future, we are looking into diving more deeply on how people with disability can be included and integrated in our program. So thank you for that. For the sake of time, we'll just quickly take another question, and that is, what is the most challenging thing in addressing the culture of silence among adolescent girls? And how are you ensuring more people speak up? So can we have another person who hasn't spoken go for this one?
Thank you so much, Ola. The most challenging task in addressing silence in girls is, you cannot forward their cases when they are not willing. You cannot force someone maybe to come up. So it is challenging, but we've been doing this, trying to solve that by giving them the knowledge that we need to give them, and you keep checking on them. You give them time to think about it. You give them option. You give them a bigger picture to see how it is better for them to come out and share their experience so that they can be helped and life moves on well. So it's the most challenging part of it is it takes longer time than like when someone opens up and you find a solution very fast. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you for the powerful contribution, Ellen. I see that we have a lot of questions here, and it looks like we are running out of time. So we'll pick few ones that we can, and then probably look for better ways to respond to the ones that we would not be able to touch on today. All right. So the next question, are there any additional concepts or topics that are not currently in the No Means No Girls curriculum that you think should be taught to young girls? Anyone can go for this one.
Okay, thank you so much, Ola. This is something I've raised already. It is about HIV. I know we have the referrals and all that, but the fact that we have SOLA, which is like first line support to a survivor of sexual violence, it has helped survivors, those that cannot really get the extra support. So I feel like if we had a small portion, even if it's not a full session, like one page about HIV prevention, that would be a powerful one, because it's violence and HIV prevention, because we know sexual violence has an association with HIV. For partners that are only doing No Means No without other interventions, it has been a challenge. So that would be a plus from my side. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing, Rashida. As we all know, we are a learning organization. So this innovation is something we'd look into, as we dive into the future. We would look into these ideas and think of possible ways we can integrate some of these innovations that our partners and stakeholders are suggesting. All right. Thank you. So I'll take one more question and then we end today's webinar. So the question, have you had the experience where a girl uses her physical skills and a man attacks back and hurts her? Have you ever come across such situation?
Yes, thank you so much, Ola. Yes, I've heard about that. It's unfortunate that girl was not under dreams, but when we were teaching the girls the No Means No classes, one of our No Means No students went far and he told us that that girl have been tried to be abused, but the girl taught her about the physical skills, and the attacker still came back. But I'm so happy that we went on, me and my team, the TASO team here in Mbarara City, and went there to involve the police, and with involving the police and the government officials, that girl was worked on and she's now in safe hands. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing with us, Ruth. We are also happy to note that the girl in question got the justice that we desired. Yeah. And satisfactorily, we are happy she got the justice. Thank you for sharing again, Ruth. All right, so we have come to the end of today's webinar, but I want to take a moment to sincerely thank our incredible panelists for their valuable contributions. Your expertise, your insights, and passion have illuminated the critical issue of violence against women and inspired us all to take action. Yes, we have learned from you today, and the perspective you shared have not only deepened our understanding, but also empowered us with practical solutions, that we can use to address this kind of challenges. Your voices are truly resonant, and your work is paving way for a safer, more equitable world for women and girls everywhere. And on behalf of the audience and No Means No Worldwide, thank you for your time, dedication, and also commitment to this cause. So very quickly, I want to share with our audience before I hand it over to Leah. Before we conclude, there are some practical ways that we can use to support the fight against violence against women. First, we want you to educate yourself and also educate others. So, given, for example, what you have learned here, you have successfully educated yourself. So we want you to also go out there to also educate people, because awareness is the foundation for the transformation that we want to see in our communities and also beyond. Second, we want you to be an ally. Call out any act of violence whenever you see them, and also report any act of violence wherever you see them. We want you to support survivors by volunteering with organizations and also agencies that provide shelter, counseling, legal or social aid, such as No Means No Worldwide. And finally, we want you to use your voice to advocate for policies and cultural shifts that promote safety and equality, because we know that together we can create a world where women and girls live free from violence. And on this note, I'll be handing over to Leah. Leah, over to you.
Thank you, Ola, and thank you all of our panelists for sharing your stories and your personal voices today. It has been very powerful to hear your experiences and to hear how the program is working in your community. I heard each of you share that young people and yourselves are equipped with practical skills, mental skills, verbal skills, and physical skills that are being used effectively to stop and interrupt violence. And your voices resonate with all of us as we are on the same mission to end violence against women and children. On the screen, you'll see a couple of ways to continue to stay involved with No Means No Worldwide and the work that's happening around the world. If you're interested in partnering with us, please reach out to partnerships@nmnw.org. Engage with us on social media. Find us on Facebook or Instagram, or reach out and check out our website. We also welcome your feedback on topics that you might like for future webinars. What do you want to learn more about? Feel free to share that in the chat or send us an email. We're very interested in continuing to host webinars that you all find valuable and helpful in your work. And lastly, thank you all for attending and marking the kickoff to the 16 days of activism and to your contributions for ending gender-based violence around the world. Please take care of yourselves, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks, everyone.